Good afternoon, people. Couple things, you understand. Just got back from church. I'm in high spirits. The audio sounds exquisite. Today we'll be covering what I found on women's health, and I am willing and excited to give women their props. I I'm more than aware that women tend to have better conversational skills in certain things. Logic seems to be up for grabs in that demographic, but in terms of just their ability to communicate, and this is nothing different. I don't know who wrote this. Alyssa Girdwain. Alyssa Girdwain. 60 questions that will make you think all the things. And I'm definitely in the mood to do some thinking. Church was impactful. I will be returning again. But yeah, I'm in good mood, and I don't know how many of these I'll get through. 60 of it is a lot. Um, but since I've found myself at somewhat of a homeostasis equivalent in my body and my mind, um, I'm only doing these things when I feel when I want to. I'm not gonna make it a chore. I'm not gonna try to schedule it, even though a level of discipline in that area may solve some issues there. But really, just doing this when I feel I want to make this a hobby again. Is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to make this a hobby again. It became a job. It became this thing where I'm like, if I can just build this and this thing, then I'll be able to be complete in whatever ways, you know. But yeah, it's a hobby. We're gonna keep it that way until it starts paying, the amount of bills that I will require it to do. But starting with number one, and as we go along, please feel free to ask these to yourself. Please feel free to question your own being and existence. That you might take something from this. Um, Number one, how long is your now? The interesting things about these questions is that they force you to, first of all, you almost have to establish how you're going to answer the question. It doesn't really provide guidelines in that way. And in that way, it kind of forces you to think in terms of what are they asking and how can I provide an answer? How long is your now? The only way I know the answer to this question, at least currently, especially on the spot live, like I don't really have time to muse properly. Um, when I think about 24-hour span and being present and being present, being present, I think of 24-hour span. But then I'm also aware that no one's focused for 24 hours. So the way I would interpret this question is, how long are you self-aware before you wake up and realize you wasted time? Um, for me, that's a couple hours on TikTok. Easily kind of, all right, bro, you just like, especially when you get something quality on the For You page and they immediately like, bro, you've been on here scrolling, you talking about you want all these things, you want this lifestyle, and you on here scrolling, bro, like that's crazy. You're not making no money off of this. And so that's one way I interpret it, as far as how long am I willing to let my focus drift before I kind of rein it back in. And for me, that's a couple hours. A couple hours. It's a luxury now, whereas a couple hours before, a year ago or so, and yeah, we're looking at money lost and consequences thereof. Number two, do your dreams have a deeper meaning? This is another question that requires you to interpret the question first and like outline how you are approaching it, and then you can answer the question. Um, do your dreams have a deeper meaning? I always think they do. I was raised to think they do. My mom has always been, reading books from Joyce Meyer and like throwing out my video games. And like, oh, this is demonic. I read a book on this and I had a dream about this, and you know, I always believe that mine do. Now, I don't dream as much as of late. Maybe I'm just not getting proper rest. I don't think I've been in REM cycle since I've been out in the military. Um, but yeah, I truly believe that dreams, although chaotic, there tends to be a silver lining. There tends to be a silver lining that you can at least pull that type of structure from it. Um, but in terms of the whole dream, and you got like randomness and chaos and things you don't recognize, things you do, things that don't make sense. I think that's just a jumbling of stimuli. But when you look for structure, and there, it's kind of like when you go to nature and you look for parallel lines, you won't find them. If you go out to nature and all the chaos of nature that is in order, if you go to look for our type of order, and I'm looking for parallel lines in nature, you won't find it. A lot of people are probably thinking orchards. That's not natural. You won't go anywhere in nature and find parallel lines. It's not there. It's not there. So I think from the chaos we can pull some structure, and of course we can insert structure, um, being just our thought process, the scientific method, all these languages that we've adapted to. I think we can apply those to dreams, but I don't think dreams had those in mind really. I think it's just to look into the chaos and see if there's any order in there, and if there's any patterns, maybe they might have some value to you, and then we draw these crazy reaching correlations to see if do they match do they match? So that's an interesting question. Really didn't have anything of substance there, but it's a good thought exercise. Number 3, man. What was the moment where you felt most motivated? What was the moment where you felt most motivated? I would argue, anytime you see me doing a live stream, I'm extremely motivated, Brad. There is no way you'll see me sitting here in this chair with editing in mind, with thumbnails in mind, with topics in mind. There is no, I don't have the energy for it. When my energy drops, I drop everything that is not essential. And that includes this, which it's always been a hobby, needs to stay a hobby, unless it's making good money. Then we can add some managers and structure to it. But as far as right now, anytime you see me doing something that it's a hobby of mine, it's because I feel motivated. And motivation for me usually comes from being healthy. I've said this, I believe, once or twice before. I'm probably going to keep mentioning it. If you are black, if you have dark skin, if you have higher melanated levels in your epidermis and dermis, you need to be taking vitamin D, especially if you spend most of your day indoors. Obviously, you go home, you're indoors. Most people are not sleeping outside. It's a crazy correlate. We all have melanin. Melanin prevents the absorption of UV light from the sun. What it also prevents the absorption of is vitamin D, and so it's an issue that is compounded by its protection, but it's also prevention, and we don't spend enough time outside. No one, I would argue, unless you're working in construction, even then, you know, landscapers, they're covered head to toe trying to block the sun. So I believe if you're not spending the majority of your day outside or moving from place to place, you're probably vitamin D deficient. And I know for a fact when I started supplementing vitamin D3, taking upwards of 5,000 IU's and up, probably capping around like 10,000 IU's, which for me is just like 10 capsules. But yeah, instant change. Instant change. Now I'm combining that with carnivore and keto. I'm telling you, Brad. I'm telling you, when you find something that I'm like, all right, this can get me back on track. This gets me at least getting back to my hobbies or doing things I enjoy. I think it all starts with your actual physical health. Motivation is kind of hard to preach to someone who's starving. They have a major problem. They have pain in their life. To present them with this long, encyclopedia of advice and advisement and wisdom and mentorship. They don't care, man. Solve the problem, and then you can have access to their mind and their goings on. So yeah, I would argue right now, and recently, just I sent my boy some screenshots of my LA fitness check-ins because I wasn't always posting on my stories. We have this ongoing who's going to post a shirtless photo first. And I'm telling you now, just a little sneak peek. I'm about a good month away. I'm about a good month away from just showing my naked body on the internet, and then probably segueing into an OnlyFans career and things of that ilk. My body is for the people. You understand? So, that's a little side thing that me and him been working on. But you'd be surprised when you find something that works. And you just all right, intermittent fasting. When I do eat, it's gonna be carnivore, keto. If I need a quick snack, popcorn with ranch seasoning. When I need energy, Crystal Light. You understand? You just weed for the entirety of the day. You understand? If I'm breathing while awake, I should be breathing in marijuana more than just plain oxygen. I don't know why people are just breathing normally. But that's a weird thing. You understand? It's unacceptable proceedings. So yeah, motivation for me is tends to be correlated with health, and that if I'm not doing something I should be doing in terms of my personal health, my bodily health, it's going to be nearly impossible for me to go above and beyond of what I have to do. That's a good question. Number 4. If you won the lottery, what would your today look like in 5 years? I like this question. And for full disclosure, I did peruse the list of questions. I don't pick randomly. These questions need to be well drafted and well structured. And this was a great list. And not all the questions hit. Like the first couple were kind of dusty. But the more you go down the list, it's some good stuff in here. Number 4. If you won the lottery, what would your today look like in 5 years? I'm not going to lie to you. Unless it's on the internet, no one would ever see me again. Ever. This is my conflict with being famous, and like I want to be successful on YouTube, but that comes with a certain level of a lack of privacy, and I'm like, I don't know. But definitely, I would not be in the U.S. What, man? If your boy hits the lottery, what would my life, what would my day today look like? So let's do a Monday morning, tomorrow morning. Let's start with the night before, Sunday night. Sunday night. I'm in bed, you understand? Around 9 p.m. And I will be massaged to sleep. You understand? Massaged to sleep. Setting, provide a little context. Singapore, possibly Dubai. Abu Dhabi is nice. So Singapore, Singapore first, just because that boat little it's a whole thing. Um, Sunday night in Singapore, I'll be massaged to sleep. We'll leave this PG-13 for now. Um, castor oil, castor oil, head to toe would be ideal. The room would be flooded with red LED lights for nourishment. You understand? The temperature in the room 60, 60, 60. The size of the bed, king size bed. Um, Let me get one of the mattresses from the Hampton Inn. Let me get that one, bro. Let me get the sheets from the last Airbnb I stayed in Jupiter, Florida. I don't know what sheets she had, but I would imagine 1,500 direct count Egyptian cotton something, bro. The junk was quality, bro. So I have some. We'll have some of that, and we'll speed up. Now, obviously, my ambition is heavily based on comfort and luxuries and experience, the quality experience, the quality experience. You understand? Um, I've slept on silk before. It's not comfortable. The pillows constantly move, and it does collect heat. Not as much heat as a lot of people say it does, but silk will probably. We'll see about that. I love cashmere. I I, I love cashmere. I love cashmere. So most of the bed will be probably cashmere, pillowcases, um, all of that. The room will smell like eucalyptus. Eucalyptus. The entire room just soaked in it. Every breath will just be, your lungs will be, inhaling such things. And yeah, so Monday morning, after a restful night of sleep, wake up around 4 or so. Honestly, I don't know why I would leave the bed. I don't know if I'll actually leave the bed. What might today look like? So to answer the question seriously, which all those things are probably exact details of how my life will look in 5 years with the that context. Um, I don't think it would look any different, to be honest with you. My setting would be different. I wouldn't be in the same place probably at all. I'll probably just stay in a different luxury accommodation every single night. I will be constantly moving. I'll wake up probably first thing, sit on the balcony of the ocean, say what it's got to say. Um, Ice cold shower. My assistants would, be you know accommodating as we clean the entire real estate to offer. Like what was it? Coming to America. We'll have that, and then we'll probably I don't think I'll be eating breakfast, so we'll fast all morning, go to the gym. My life would look the same, to be honest. Uh, it would just be more of the same. More weed, more travel, more women. Yeah, probably simple as that. I'm a simple guy. There isn't much in this world that I haven't already kind of observed, and I'm. It makes me sort of nihilistic when I start thinking about how like there isn't really that much extra available to me that I already haven't like tasted a little bit of. I'm like, so if I just got way more of that, my hedonic treadmill will reset, and then that will become normal to me. And then now I'm back at square one, trying to find something interesting. This is why I'm trying to connect more with people instead of things and places. Because once you're there long enough, once you have the thing long enough, it becomes normal. And then now what, man? Now what? Why are y'all drifting me to ads? Number 5. What are you holding on to that's holding you back? I'm getting all serious now. What are you holding on to that's holding you back? Two things. I would say what are you holding on to that's holding you back? So the first word that comes to mind is bitterness. And as much as I would like to think that I don't hold grudges and I can just move on and that things don't bother me anymore once I leave and I just move on, then I'm just gonna go to the gym. I think a lot. I think a lot, and the unfortunate nature of having the ability to overthink. It's a luxury, but having the ability to overthink, it's difficult to turn it off. And that when I run out of impulses, when I run out of stimuli, my brain starts to manufacture it and it just pulls from my past. It's real easy that way. So that's one thing that I feel like if I did that a little bit less, I would be progressing. My fuel efficiency would increase. Put it that way. My fuel efficiency as I travel through this world and through life, I would get better fuel efficiency. Life would be smoother. Um, and the other thing is judging myself harshly. I asked my dad a question yesterday, and this is I'm doing my best. I don't know how to connect with him. He's been in my life my entire life, so this is not a distance thing. This is a I'm trying to discover who my father is, especially because I have one that's in my life who's active, who's always been active. There's never been a point where he's just disappeared. He's always been active in my life, and so I have this thing where I just send him a question a day. I try to send him just one question a day that is structured in a way that when he loves questions. We're the same person essentially, but when I send him this question, the answer he gives back, it teaches me so much about him, and therefore myself because I come from him. So I believe the question yesterday was, what's something that you've always wanted to tell me, or what's something that you would tell me right before you died, or you would want to tell me before you died? And his answer was so simple that it was almost disappointing. It was almost disappointing. His answer was simple. I love you just the way you are. I'm not. I don't even love myself like that. I don't even love myself like that. I'm always trying to improve something. And all right, I'm gonna go to the gym, and you're gonna eat before 12, sir. That's unacceptable. Oh, you ate carbs yesterday. No one knew, but you had some carbs yesterday. Constantly judging myself, constantly. And so it was an interesting answer from him to say, "I love you." Like, of all the things you could tell your oldest son, your first son, I'm named after him. The the His answer was profound to me. It was profound because out of everyone in my life, I think him saying that, and my mom's always been saying it. I'm grateful in that way that my mom is more than verbally affirming in terms of her love, for her children. But I never heard my father say that. 31 years old, and masculinity's been under attack. But as far as, bruh, this is a grown man who shares. I share his DNA, and I have one, bruh. I have my own father, bruh. Countless people wish they knew their father, his name, his whereabouts, his existence. And mine's a text away, a phone call away. So yeah, shout out to him. Definitely trying to get him on the channel. Pick his brain. But yeah, the way I judge myself often has negative effects on my ability to accomplish simple tasks. Simple tasks. Anxiety is simply an overestimation of your ability to handle something you probably already handled before. It's an overestimation of the obstacle and an underestimation of your ability to deal with it. When I heard that quote, I was like, intellectual erection. I need to satisfy myself. Anxiety is overestimating the obstacle and underestimating your ability to deal with it. If you have a negative view of yourself, you will always have anxiety. If your view of yourself is not accurate, it comes with consequences. Like it literally cripples you in areas where you should be excelling easily. You're like, why can't you just do that? Like, what? Why can't you just do that? I'm like, if they can't see themselves doing it in any parallel life or in their imagination, it's an issue. Until you address it, I've had to come to terms with, I like myself. I'm not going to change Ray. I heard on TikTok, and I've heard from one doctor. He talks about law of attraction, all these things, and they talked about how vibration, or the highest vibration, is authenticity, and how just if you be yourself the first time and every time, you're going to have people leaving you. People will leave you. But that's a natural part of life. If someone doesn't like you, they probably won't want to hang around you ever again. At least that's my mindset. If I don't like you, bro, I'm leaving. Like, leave me alone completely. But you also get a chance to attract people who do like you for exactly what you are and for who you are. And that genuine connection, it only comes from you being authentic. If people meet you in person and you're different, but you have to be authentic, and you have to risk people saying, I don't like you. Especially with their actions. You have to risk people saying, I don't like you, bruh. So I'm leaving. And then there'll be someone who says, I like you for exactly who you are. I love you. Please do not change. Most men would be marrying women, hoping, please just stay that size. Don't change nothing. You're perfect. That's why I'm marrying you. It's because right now you're perfect. And women hope, all right, so if he can just change that one thing, like just stop wearing Crocs, he'll be perfect. He once I'm in his life, I'll cook for him. I'll help him get a haircut. I'll change the way his clothes, all of it. Women try to change men, and men are hoping, please just stay the same. Neither one happens, unfortunately. Neither one occurs. We just hope it does. And then we're both miserable because why didn't he change? And then why did she change? Everyone has a solution in mind that involves other people changing. Rarely will you ever hear, yo, I was the problem in my last relationship. I was the toxic one. I was the narcissist. I was the guy who caused trouble. I was the guy. I was the woman who did A, B, C, and D. It doesn't happen. And I would argue if it does happen, it's probably deception. It's probably deception. Number 6, if you didn't know your age, how old would you think you'd be? This is one of those questions where you don't have perspective. You don't have the proper context to answer this question. If they're asking me, like, do I feel healthy? What age? Like, well, this is the oldest I've ever felt. So this is also the strongest I've ever been, though. I'm not sure. I would say 30. Because I'm 31 now, so. Do you believe in love at first sight? No. No. Love is a lifelong, at least the way I'm defining it, love is a lifelong pursuit. Meaning, I don't see anyone and just immediately hope to pay their bills and make sure they're housed and taken care of and they meet their goals. I don't just look at people and want the best for people. No, I look at people as competitors. Immediately, like I look at people and I'm like, is there option to win? That's why I listen. I start asking questions because the more data I get, it's a wrap for most people at least. And you get some people that try to ask you questions, and I'll just answer them with a question to make sure that the burden of proof remains on them. Please keep providing data. So I don't believe in love at first sight. I do believe in lust at first sight. That is a normal occurrence in my day. It's like going to the gas station, going to the bathroom. Of course, like lust is, it's easy. It's literally, it's what a man is. The willingness to commit, that's a whole different, like that's a whole department stores, bruh. Separate. Church and state, the two different things. Lust and love, I don't have them overlapping hardly ever in my day. Hardly ever. I will say this, as men mature, this line becomes more and more blurry. The line between lust and love becomes more and more blurry because you have to intentionally pursue which compartment you want. Now, to women, they look the same. He's pursuing me. Yeah, lions pursue gazelles. You don't want to know why they pursue gazelles. Pursuit is often just a sign that somebody desires you. That's just, you don't know why they desire you. So I do believe in lust at first sight, men and women. But love at first sight, it's kind of almost like you're playing, let's look at the ending and then we'll, go back in time and try to look for just confirmation bias, essentially. So no, I don't believe in that. I think those days are long gone. Number 8, people say life is short. What do you do? Why do you do so many things you don't like? And like so many things you don't do? This is one of the questions that stumped me when I was just scanning through the list. I'm like, that's a quality appeal to hypocrisy, which is a logical fallacy. People say life is short. Why do you do so many things you don't like and like so many things you don't do? For one, money. Everything I want is expensive. Every experience I desire, it's a pretty penny. Everywhere I want to live is quality. Everything I want to wear, everything I want to do, every camera I want to look into, my laptop, everything I demand a certain level of quality. So there's a reason why first of all, if you learn to like things you don't want to do, that's called discipline. I used to go to the gym when I first started working out around 2014. And I was going there for the pure reason of, bruh, I got to get this fat off of me, bruh. I've been fat my entire life. I got to get this weight off. Tomorrow when I go to the gym, I'm going because I'm 31 and I need to retain this muscle. A lot of things we do, we don't like it. I don't particularly like talking to a camera. I'd rather talk to one person, but they're probably at work or at church or going about their day, and I might find that person, soon. But there are a lot of things that we don't like to do, but we do it anyway. And I know that's not the true intent of what they're asking. Now, the first part of the question is the hard part, and I already know the answer. Why do you do so many things you don't like? Is that the question? People say life is short. Why do you do so many things you don't like and like so many things you don't do? So probably the truest answer is fear for most people. There's a question that haunts me. For those of you who chose the lesser option or the unpreferred option, the safer option, because you were afraid of failing at the big option or the preferred option, the one you actually wanted. What if you fell at that one too? That that question alone, I'll say it again because I know I jumbled it up. You chose the safer option because you were afraid that you would fail at your preferred option. What happens when you fail at the safer option? You might as well just fail at the one you want. I think that's a major reason why a lot of people don't try to pursue what they actually want. Is yeah, there's consequences. There's consequences. If you fail, yeah, it might set you back a year or two. Bankruptcy, it's restructuring of debt. It's not the end of the world. Trump's done it a million times. Pretty much every billionaire has done it at least once. They're not all the same. They're not all created equal. It's different. But I would argue the ultimate reason why people don't try to do things they actually like it's just fear. The same reason why men don't approach women that they actually like and they're attracted to is fear. It's simple as that. It's fear. Every man's truest battle is fear. It has nothing to do with the woman. Has nothing to do with achieving a career. It's about fear. How quickly can you overcome your fear? That measurement could be in years, minutes, seconds, weeks, months. Just doing the thing that you're allowed to be afraid of the thing. You have to go do it though. I was watching a TikTok this morning. They're talking about how, why is it every time I get close to a relationship and I have to risk all these things? I'm like, well, and then you get hurt, and then couldn't you just tell me up front? All these things. The unfortunate nature of relationships is that that's the cost of entry is risk. If you want a tangible love, something that has substance, that comes with risk on both sides. It might be time for the woman. It might be money for the man. Money and time for the man. It's risk. And the only people that get to enjoy the rewards and the spoils is those that were willing to risk. The business owners. You can be an employee and have no risk whatsoever. Risk of losing your job, possibly. But ultimately, those who invest thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions, they have all the risk. But when all the rewards come in and they say you get $20 an hour, I'm taking my third vacation this month. That's how risk can separate you so quickly. Is by who is willing to just take on the risk. Sometimes it's not about being competent. It's about no one else is willing to do this. No one's even trying. Bruh, she's a 9.5 over there, bruh. And no one's saying anything to her. Let me go get this rejection real quick, bruh. Come back with them things, you understand? Sometimes it's just about the numbers. I'm like, bruh, if I have an advantage, I have leverage, and I have opportunity, and there's no one here to compete with me, it's all upside. The quicker you get over your fear, you realize life opens up to you. Preaching to the choir. Number 9. Why do you actually do good deeds? This question is making an assumption that I take offense to. but it's true. I think everyone does something for a reason. I think that's just a rational argument that humans do things for reasons. Why do you actually do good deeds? For my truest answer is guilt. It's guilt. I have this rule with homeless people that if they ask me for money, the answer is always no. If they ask me for food or water, the answer is always yes. I had to draw a line on my guilt. I can't keep doing this dance that when they say jump, I say how high, how quickly, where, when. It's too much. I need to give my mind peace. That when I walk past the Girl Scout cookies, the answer is always no. If I'm donating to a cause, no. Or yes. Choose, just pick one and just go with it. And for some people, it may be less complicated, and I'll just, when it happens, I'll deal with it. That's what a healthy mind would do. My mind has rules. I'm like, bruh, if they ask for food and water, bruh, the answer is always yes. How dare you deny a human food and water when you have surplus? They didn't ask for your money, they asked for food and water. So, all right, cool. So, guilt is my most honest answer. I wish I had a more virtuous answer of like, we got to spread the wealth to the people and be good people and the troops. I'm like, I wish I had that reasoning. I wish I had that reasoning. It's unfortunate. Number 10. Do you work to live or do you live to work? I've struggled with this question ever since I left the military. Because there's something within me that still wants to achieve. I can't turn that piece of it off. No matter how much weed I smoke, how much alcohol I drink, I can't seem to turn off the ambition of like, you should be doing something. It's why I'm live right now. Went to church today. Today's Lord's Day. It's a rest day from the gym. I'll go to the beach tomorrow. I want to drive all the way down there. I got food in the crib. I don't need to be doing anything. I got Wi-Fi. I don't need to go or do anything. Why am I alive? It's because I wish I could turn off this desire to achieve something, but it doesn't turn off. The government gave me a guaranteed check for the rest of my life, and I still got to go do something. So I'm conflicted. However, I am in a fortunate position where I don't have to work to live. I really work to spend. If we're making an honest live stream, if we're gonna be honest on the live stream, bro, I work to spend. Ironically, today the message was about you just got paid. It was about tithing and about giving to the church and giving to God first fruits and seek ye first the kingdom and all these other things will be added to you. And so the message was obviously convicting, mainly because I barely even go to church, let alone give to the church, or give back to God financially. And it's not so much, because me and my father talked about this as far as, tithing being Old Testament. I know this is a whole tangent. Tithing being Old Testament, and we're under grace now in this new, paradigm, what have you. But the principle of it makes sense. Whether or not it's biblically required to tithe, I still believe in the principle of if you just give God what he wants first, why wouldn't he give you everything else? He already owns it. It's not yours to begin with. It's not yours to begin with. He can send a hurricane, tsunami to your front door, no matter where you at. All that's his anyway. So if he asks for just give me 10% back and keep the rest, you just got profit, instant profit. So it was definitely a convicting message in terms of, yeah, you say one thing, but do you do the doing? So I'm going. So yeah, I work to buy weed and enjoy the experiences this world has to offer, and to entertain women that are forever my Achilles heel. Well, moving on from there. I like this list of questions so far. We got some comments. Try getting to know others. All right, moving on. Will not be participating in anyone's ads. Number 11, bruh. I liked this question when I first was initiated. Do you hate or love better? I Hatred is my, I don't want to say it's my favorite emotion. Is hatred an emotion or a state of mind? I know anger is an emotion. Hmm. I definitely hate better, and I think most people find this. Well, I'll speak for myself. I don't know why it comes naturally to me. Maybe it was my upbringing, just dealing with so much rejection and like you're not good enough, and like I wasn't always the size I am now. Like I was overweight my entire life. I wasn't always tall, and so you dealt with the things, the things. I went to all white school, so none of the girls was checking for your boy. I was checking for them heavy. You understand? I'm like, you grow with those experiences. Hate was taught to me so early, especially with the school I went to. What was it, General Brown, up in upstate New York? That's where the first time in my life I encountered racism. I was one of seven black kids, and the other, one or two of us, two of them were me and my sister. And it just got to a point, and it wasn't overbearing. Like it wasn't that bad in hindsight, but in the moment, it was all like that was my whole experience. It was like, man, why can't I fit in? Why can't I just be a normal kid who, everybody got phones, everybody got, I have nothing. I have nothing. My first cell phone, I had a job. I got a job. I got a cell phone. McDonald's, some work program at the library. Bro, I had to pay my dues to get a dusty Boost mobile phone, and I'm surrounded by kids with flips and sidekicks and chocolate flips and stuff. I'm like, bro, if I could just get a little bit of that technology, bro. Finally got a PSP that I traded because I got an iPod that actually won. I didn't even get that. It was the whole thing, bro. Hatred is, it's comfortable for me to kind of hide in anger, to be always fighting the man, to be up against something. Sometimes I have to manufacture it because it just doesn't exist. I'm fortunate, I'm blessed, but sometimes I just want to be angry because I immediately become productive. Anger is, I know I can't use it outwardly. I actually reached out to a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu uh, gym because I'm like, bruh, I have all this anger, bruh, nowhere to put it, bruh. The weights, you can only do so much with the weights. I'm not about to be squatting 405. I'm cool with 225. I really don't want to do that. I just want to front squat my 135 and go home. Like, just leave me alone. Just activate the posterior chain and then go home. Well, it's different, but yeah. Hey, hatred comes normally, and I tend to enjoy it because I get to harness the energy that brings. It's just energy. Anger is just energy requiring an appropriate focus. And so if you're able to harness it, you can turn it into something. You turn it into something and it manifests. Sexual energy is the same way. I have a lot of that. I have a lot of that. I'm like, bruh, this energy needs to go somewhere, bruh. I'm like going on dates and just, strip club, just talking, interacting with the feminine, interacting with feminine. I think hate, I don't think it's wrong. I just don't think it's that efficient of an emotion or a sensation or a feeling. It's very inefficient. Very inefficient. Something called entropy, where there's diminishing returns at certain points. Where if I heat, whenever you feel heat, that's entropy. That's heat is energy that could have been being used productively. Instead, it's just being discharged. That's what heat is. This TV, it's a white light on here. I'm using this as my key light. Um, and there's heat. If you put your hand next to it, there's heat next to it. That's entropy. That's energy that could be being used. Instead, it's just being lost. So hatred tends to have I don't even know what the term is. Entrophic? Is that what it is? Entropy takes place with hatred, mainly because you can't harness all that energy productively. Because part of it is just being wasted up here, replaying the same event over and over again. Just replaying the same event. Brother, they said what to you, bro? They did what to you, bro? They tried. They did what to you, bro? And you're just replaying that on loop. And then, of course, your body doesn't know what to do, so it just goes into this programming mode of whatever you used to do as a kid when you got angry. Now you just start doing it as an adult. When I was a youngin, when I was in high school, my mom say something. dumb stuff. I'm like, bro, I ain't trying to do it. That don't even make sense, bro. That's logical incoherent. That's a fallacy. You just appeal to slippery slope fallacy. And I'm thinking all this. I can't say it out loud. I'm not allowed to say it out loud. I will go to my room and just, I want my room to not look like the rest of the house. Spotless, organized, in order. It smells like bleach. I've been doing that since I was a kid. So now if you look at my house, it's the same thing. When I get angry, I come spotless, clean. Luckily, my anger is harnessed in a productive manner. But again, it's still an inefficient way of dealing with the emotions of, all right, in order for me to deal with my emotions, I have to clean everything around me. My car has to be spotless. I think there has to be a better way of dealing with that. Sometimes just sitting with the emotion and just letting it sit there. I'm not going to change it. It can't go on forever. Fight or flight, it can't go on forever. You can't just constantly be angry. You can still think about it and return the energy and start over. But it's going to last for about 10 to 15 minutes and then it'll be gone. If you can just outlast that 10 15 minutes and don't destroy anything in your wake, you'll realize anger is just energy requiring an appropriate focus. And it's a skill that you can get better at as far as harnessing it. People can look at me and not know I'm angry. I'm like, I'm trying to beat you, bro. Like I want you to starve in front of me while I eat my steak. And like my competitiveness is that tangible, and my anger therefore. But yeah, it's a very inefficient way of living, where if anything can trigger you, now you got to wait 10, 15 minutes to get back to your normal self. I'm like, I'm not doing that. So of course there has to be better ways. I'm not giving people access to your emotions and your central nervous system. Number 12. Would you rather lose all your memories or never be able to make new ones? Wow, that's an easy one. I didn't think it would be that easy. I'd rather lose all my memories because fear lies in my past only. Well, no, because when it shows up in, well, it's not even the future, it shows up in the present. And that's what anxiety is. So yeah, I would opt to lose all my previous memories so I can create new ones endlessly. Because you're only living in your present anyway. The past is sentimental and nostalgic and my youth. It has value there. You know, you can replay your past victories, but most people are not replaying their past victories. Most people are replaying their past failures on loop. And so, in that sense, there's no utility to bring that to your present to where, all right, I can't create no new ones, but I can remember all my past failures and everything I didn't do and everything I got revenge on and everything I failed at. And it's too much. It's too much. And of course, you leave room for growth, you leave room for hope if you're creating new memories. The hope is that you don't repeat your past and bring that to your future or your present. Um, so yeah, I thought that would be a more difficult question, but yeah, I would opt to, yeah. Let me get some new memories, bro. There isn't much to mull over in my past. Number 13. How do you measure success? I'm going to answer this differently than I've previously been answering this question, so I can bring some utility to the two people watching. How do you measure success? Do my words match my actions? Is probably the best way to kind of sum that up. Because success is not really an arrival thing. It's more so, did you do the correct action that you can hopefully have the positive effect later? It's just cause and effect. Whatever you're causing today, you're causing an effect. A-N. When you're causing an effect, your hope is that when you get the effect later, it matches the cause, the input, the stimuli, the catalyst. So when my words match my actions, there's congruence, there's peace. When I'm on live stream, I promise there's no more, probably the highest peak of my day in terms of productivity is coming on here, because this has been one of my I've been on here since 2017 consistently, not every day. Like there was some spans where it was like years. I don't think I missed an upload day, and I was uploading multiple times a day. Well, obviously my goals have changed drastically currently, but if I say, all right, this is what I know I want to be doing, God forbid I tell anyone, Success to me is simply matching my words and my actions together to where when I do something, when I say something, they just match. And it brings peace, it brings progress, predictability, lack of anxiety. Easiest way to know if someone's lying is just look at their words and their actions and see if they match. Simple as that. A lot of women are saying, I'd rather he just tell me up front what he wants. Deception's everywhere. It's literally in front of you. It's in front of you. Everyone has an archetype. Everyone can. I could look at people and know exactly what to say. It's a gift. But me knowing myself tells me what to worry about when it comes to the rest of the world. Because I know other people have it too. May not be spread out to everyone. But there's videos I've watched where people will lie and don't flinch. Don't flinch. I'm like, how are they doing that? You watch like To Catch a Predator or something, and like these guys, they had their entire chat logs. They had them on camera ever since they approached the street that they lived on. And the first thing they do is lie. And I'm like, humans will lie, and it's normal. I asked this question on Twitter, and apparently it's too complicated for people. How many times does it take you to become a murderer? How many times do you have to commit murder to become a murderer? The answer is one. How many times does a rapist have to rape someone before they become a rapist? The answer is once. The answer is once. How many times do you need to lie before you're considered a liar? The answer is once, which means we're all liars, both in action and by definition. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. The easiest way to find a lie, to find deception, is just find anywhere where there's incongruence. They say they want to be fit. They say they try to turn up this summer. They say they trying to be different, but they ordering pizza. Which one do you believe? Simple as that. Number 14. What is the meaning of life? What is the meaning of your life? I'm going to answer this in two ways. Two ways. So the first part of the question, what is the meaning of life? I'm going to say people. I'm going to say people. I thought about this a lot, surprisingly. People are the meaning of life. I can't think of anything more valuable than people. Our most valuable resource, currency, is time. And the most valuable gift you can give to another person is all of your time. 100% of your time. It's called sacrifice. That's what Jesus did. To give someone or everyone all of your time, I could live another 30 years, another 40 years, another 50 years. I'm going to give all that time to you. I can't think of anything more valuable than that. So when I say the meaning of life is people, I'm saying find the people that you're willing to give your life for. And then stand by. Just stand by, because the day's going to come. But you would want to be spending your days, all of your days, with people you would not mind dying for. The meaning of my life, in addition to the first part, would be wisdom. Wisdom. It's the only thing that angers me. It's the only thing that triggers me. It's the only thing that brings me a mental erection. Just a quality question, bruh. I'm telling you, it does something within my drawers where laundry and things of that nature and that ilk are required and necessary. The meaning of my life is wisdom. I love a quality question. I love a quality question, man. So, moving on. What was the moment where you felt most grateful? I learned on TikTok the ABCs of gratitude. Whenever you find yourself you can't find anything positive in your life, you're so focused on the negative, you're depressed, you have anxiety, just go down the ABCs, all 26 letters, and apply letter A. Why am I most grateful? A's. apple cider vinegar, microbiome, and what have you. You just go down the list. And by the time you get done, at least your mind should have a new perspective, a new option to focus on, because you just presented all the stimuli and you had to focus enough to answer those questions. Those questions are not easy. You get down to Q and S and T, N, and all these various letters, X, Y. You're trying to think of something you're grateful for. You're going to forget that you were just depressed. That's the whole point, to live in the single moment, the singular moment. Let me answer the question. What was the moment where you felt most grateful? I was gonna say the beach here in Florida, and like just every single morning, but it said most, the qualifier of most. I'm gonna have to say Dubai, because I had no idea I would end up living an hour away for some time. Going to Dubai Mall, really just driving in. There's one scene in the intro videos or the intro to the live where you see me driving in Dubai. I think that was the moment I was just weak in my knees, because I dreamt of that moment of going to the Burj Khalifa, going to Dubai Mall. I almost hit that 7-star hotel. If I had remembered, and I promise you, out of all my regrets, the one moment I forget to convert the currencies from dirhams to US, I pull up to the gate. They say, all right, you can't come in unless you have a reservation for tea or lunch. I said, all right, well, how much? And they said 59. And I immediately thought, I'm not paying $59 for nobody's tea, bro. I don't care how many stars they got, bro. I'm not doing it. I forgot to convert it. I believe you just divided by 3 or so. Hey, bruh. Regrets. I gotta fly all the way back there. I pulled up to the gate. But Dubai as a whole, Abu Dhabi, I love the Middle East. I miss it with a passion. The culture, the women, the religion. I went to the Grand Mosque. I grew up in church all my life, the Christian church. I've never been to a temple, an establishment as beautiful as the Grand Mosque in Abu Dhabi. Architecture, parallel lines, the sound. Yeah. So yeah, my trip to Dubai, my deployment to the Middle East, by far probably the moment where I was truly, I'm like, how did this happen? Number 16. If you restarted your life from scratch, would you end up in the same place? Ooh, I like this one. I like this one. Wow. I like this one, man. If you restarted your life from scratch, would you end up in the same place? So I guess now we have to ask, what would I change about my upbringing or my decision making? I think I would be a professional athlete. If I had a chance to go back and do everything over, knowing what I know now, which I think that's kind of embedded in the question, I would definitely be a professional athlete, because all I had to do is, instead of going to the Air Force, just play sports in high school. Play baseball, basketball, and football in high school. I had the size, naturally gifted. You understand? Don't come for your boy. I'm different out here, man. All I do is just play every sport. Something would have landed. And now the question is, why didn't I play every sport? Well, I was working at McDonald's, man. I would not end up in the same place. I would probably be better off, because there's no way you're gonna give me a second chance and I'll blow it out the park. I'm in Florida, live my best life, so I would imagine I would end up in Florida, live my best life, just at a different pay scale and tax bracket. Thankfully, we're in Florida, so it's income tax free. So we're definitely grateful there. That was a great question. Number 17. What is something you do differently than anyone else you know, and why? My answer last time I read this was think. I think differently than most people, if not everyone. The topic of equality is always interesting. If people were truly equal, and of course borderline semantics. Equal, the same. Is that really? Is that what they're really equivalent? Yeah, it means equal. Um, wouldn't our results be the same or somewhat similar? If you're 6'5" and up, and you're not playing professional sport, it's because you chose not to. The world has created a red carpet from birth to your nearest league. That's not equality. It's just not. Some people will never be able to ride certain rides at the doggone universe studios, what have you. Is that equal? I don't know if equality truly exists. Not between men and women, not between white men and black men, and Mexican men and Indian men, and black women and white women, and Asian women and Middle Eastern women. I don't. I'm trying to find the equality. I see advantages, disadvantages, and opportunity. Advantages, disadvantages, and opportunity. I don't see equality nowhere. I love when people try to compete with me, but I don't have it in me to quit. I will stay up all night and ensure that I win, and then go to bed early while you're getting up early. I don't see how everyone is the same. I don't think it's true. I think everyone's unique. I think it's a true fallacy and a disservice to everyone involved by comparing people. It's the thief of joy. It's how everyone gets anxiety. It's how everyone overthinks things. It's the comparison, especially on social media. I think if we just removed the internet, it would solve 99% of everyone's problems. No one wants to do it. Ray, you go first. Nah, I'm good this time, Ray. But seriously, the internet is, from what I've deduced, the foundational issue of 99% of the world's problems right now. It could be a solution, but it's not. It's the foundational issue of most problems. It's a two-edged sword. Like, pick a poison. Like, you want to have internet with no problems? All right, well, go read now go to the library and read some books. You want to learn some stuff. You don't get TikTok and YouTube anymore. Streaming is not a thing, bruh. YouTube is not a thing. So pick your poison. But if you truly think about it, I think the internet is the cause of most of the issues in the world today. It's a bit of a first world type answer perspective as well, because yeah, some parts of the world don't even have internet, and they're doing quite well. So who knows? I even answer the question. What is something you do differently than anyone else you know, and why? I like the hard questions. They force me to be patient. Wait till the answer comes. What is something you do differently than anyone else you know, and why? I don't know anyone who cleans as thoroughly as me. Slow hanging fruit answer, but I don't I don't I don't know anyone who cleans as thoroughly as me. And mine's not OCD. Like, I'm able to function in chaos, somewhat. I hate doing it. But I noticed, like, when you watch people clean, and I'm like, bro, you missed a spot. It you you missed a spot, bro. How do you just walk past that? That's one of those small things that drive me up the wall. I'm like, you clean 99% of the floor. All you gotta do is swipe that last little piece. No. Somebody wipe. I go to a restaurant. They wipe off the table halfway. You missed all of this. This Waffle House sticky ass table, bro. Like, stuff drives me, and it's too much. Yeah, question. Yeah, I answered before. Think, but of course, my cleaning regimen is quite impressive. Number 18. What job would you do if you weren't paid? Clearly, YouTube. Influencer. OnlyFans. Many things that I do already, I don't get paid for. Very few things do I get paid for, to be honest. But yeah, YouTube is one of those things where I've always enjoyed YouTube. I've always enjoyed YouTube ever since around, what was it, 2016. I started watching Christian Guzman and all that whole fitness crowd and all that, Gymshark and Alfleet. Yeah, YouTube's always been intriguing. Like, how are people just eating Chipotle and getting paid? You get paid to eat. I have to go to work, buy food, and then how are you getting paid to eat and just work out and you're just living a regular life? And I've been on here since 2017 consistently, man. I wouldn't be here if I didn't enjoy it. I'm not always here, but when I am here, it's because I enjoy it. It's because this just does something for me. It's not for everyone. Some people come on here and blow up tomorrow. Some people are just built for the algorithm. And I'm like, I'm on here talking about wisdom, bro. Answering questions. Yeah, it's different. I know there are people that are successful with this. So it's more so, bro, stay in your path. Comparison is a thief of joy. Why would you be doing this if you didn't enjoy it? Stop doing what you don't enjoy. Stop looking at things you don't want to look at. Stop drinking things you don't want to drink. Eating food you don't want to eat. Do what you want to do. And especially with me having one person watching now, it's just highlighted even more so that, yeah, I get something from this. And you're probably going to have to, if you're not getting paid for something, you're going to have to find something within that gets satisfied from that proceedings. And so I'm grateful for YouTube coming to an existence. What was it, around 2004, 2005? Came online. And yeah, I wasn't watching it back then. But YouTube has been my favorite source of entertainment, of knowledge, of resources, of outlook and therapy, and just be able to get your thoughts out there. It's amazing. It's amazing. Moving on. 19. What is one part of your everyday routine that you'd be better off without? Wow. What is one part of your everyday routine that you'd be better off without? So I'm going to immediately categorize by healthy actions and not just actions that make me feel good. Weed and coffee would have to go. To just stimuli. It's Dunkin' Donuts first thing in the morning tomorrow. I'll already be high by the time I get there. And you just 3 Splenda bread, light ice, no cream, no sugar, and you just bust that mom, man. But yeah, caffeine. I haven't taken pre-workout in years. I used to be on that stuff religiously. Like, I can't even work out without my pre-workout. And now, the only thing I still require is music. I don't know how anybody works out without music. It's happened to me before. You just get through it. Yeah, it's just different. Yeah, my mornings. Yeah, I don't really have anything toxic in my morning routine because I do it every day, and I have been doing it every day for as long as I can remember. Ever since I've been a free man, like living by myself, working for the government, working period. Yeah, I've always had a morning routine, and I can't really find anything toxic within it outside of things I'm just simply addicted to, such as marijuana and caffeinated beverages. That's a good question, though. Make sure you take accountability of what you're doing repeatedly, which basically tells you what's going to happen later, is when that compounds. You're going to realize, all right, well, maybe all that led to something. Number 20. Can you ever commit a truly selfless deed? I'm going to hold that thought as I relieve myself, and we'll be back in a couple minutes. And we're back. Last question we left off on. Can you ever commit a truly selfless deed? No, because at a bare minimum, you still get something back in terms of the way you feel. The sensation of giving often exceeds the sensation of receiving. That's been my personal anecdotal experience. But I don't think that's exclusive to me or people like me. Is that when you do something for others, when you give, it feels good, and it's hard to forget that. That's why the chemical dopamine. It's to remind you. It's to reinforce whatever you just did. It makes you want to keep doing it. That's why whatever you're doing, it becomes somewhat addicting, and you need more of the dopamine. We chase it. We chase it. Giving has the same sensation. One thing I've noticed is that the strip club has the same bodily sensation as worship music for me. I asked my dad about this. I'm like, yo, why do they feel the same? When I go to the strip club, I get the same sensation, the same warmth, nurturing feeling. And obviously, it's femininity and particular women I deal with personally. And then I compare that to worship music, and I'm like, they feel the same. Why is that? And my dad's answer was simple. My dad is profound. He'll give such simple answers. Then when I like just let it marinate, it just. He said, yeah, it's activating dopamine. Strip club is a catalyst. Worship music is a catalyst. It's telling you you like that. It wants to do more of that. Now, thankfully, we have our frontal cortex and our limbic system and a limbic brain to identify things that we probably should not be doing, things that may have upside, don't have upside, things that are not sustainable long term. All those things can be recognized, from our narrative mind, what have you. But of course, dopamine is a chemical that's simply telling you, yeah, do that again, do that again, and it's impossible, it's impossible to give to someone and not feel good about yourself. Maybe you exceeded your own capacity. Maybe you gave more than you had. Something within you is still grateful. At church, a young lady went on stage. They're doing an analogy, and the pastor gave the lady that helped him all the money that they were using for the analogy. And there was something within me that was happy to see her happy, to see her cheesing. You go on TikTok, you see these old men, old women doing what they actually love, and they're happy and they're genuine. Something within you warms up. You can't control that. It's involuntary. And so I truly don't believe the ability to give or to help someone comes with nothing. I think that's how the world works, is that when you give, you get an effect. When you do, you get an effect. And whether it's good or bad, you get a effect. You get an effect. And I think that's a law more so than just, spectacular phenomena. 21. What previous dream do you see the most meaning in? I'm gonna skip that one. That's deep, and I don't have time to like really go back into my head on that question. How do you know your memories are true? Does it matter either way? Y'all not just about to gaslight me on this question, bro. How do you know your memories are true? Does it matter either way? So I have this issue with history. That, first of all, it's written by only the victors. Everything else is speculation. And even the story told by the victors is speculation. I'm like, why would I trust you to tell the truth? For what? I'm at the place where I'm just questioning anything I hear. I have to question it now. I don't even trust a lot of my memories, especially beyond a certain age. I'm like, did that really happen that way? Did I tell the story the way I wanted it to be heard, or did I tell it the way it actually happened? Or do I tell the story on how I remembered it? Do I omit certain things? How much omission is a lie? What percentage of a 100% truth is omission? And is it 1%? Does it become a lie automatically? I think that's why it's best to just live in the present, because when we start going back in the past, you're just studying lies. You're studying what everyone agrees on. What everyone is just, all right, that sounds about right. Let's go with that. It's dangerous. How many people have made decisions on wrong information? Hey, y'all got y'all PPP loan, bro? You better go. They passing them out down there. You better go get you a PPP loan, and it changes their life forever. That's the dangers of making decisions off of wrong information, whether it be a memory, whether it be in your past, whether it be in your present. The information needs to be accurate. So, to first of all, the question assumes I think my memories are true, which I think any rational person would think that. But it does matter. It does matter in terms of why would somebody lie to me? It's not so much that people say the world's round and we or flat or we went to the moon or we didn't go to the moon. I just want to know, is someone getting billions of dollars while lying to me? That's all I want to know. All right. Whether we went, who cares? I can't go myself. I can't disprove it myself. But if it turns out, yeah, that was a movie CGI effect. Yeah, it was a video. I'm like, all right, cool. I assumed as much. The question is, what were y'all doing with that billions of dollars y'all getting? Where's all that NASA money going? It matters, but I really can't do anything about it anyway. So, might as well let it go. 23. What would you try if you knew you wouldn't fail? The last answer I gave for this was marriage. So I'll answer it differently this time. What would you try if you knew you wouldn't fail? Run for president, man. I have no interest in politics at my current place. I have an obsession with power. I don't care about politics. I like power. A lot of people have confused influence with power. Andrew Tate, Donald Trump, people that are loud, and then they run into power. They run into buzzsaws. The Eagles ran through the NFC last year, and then they ran into power. It's different. The Cowboys this year beating up on the Giants and these dusty teams, and then they ran into the Niners. Power. It's different. I'm obsessed with power because it's so elusive. It only transfers when someone dies. Now, I know the president isn't very powerful in and of the position itself. The president hardly has any power. What he has is access. And that's what I want. That's what I want. I want access to all the federal agencies and the knowledge thereof. And so I can just sit in a room and absorb. Just breathe in and breathe out. I get chills just thinking about it. Like, all right, NASA, questions. NSA, over here, bro. Area 51 personnel. POC, come here, bro. Talk to your boy. What y'all doing back there? That'd be dope. Yeah, I'll run for president, man. What would you try if you knew... Did I just answer that, bro? What would you try if you knew you wouldn't fail? What would you try if you knew you would fail? What? I've never heard of this question. Hero Edward, yeah, his ass ran to Russia somewhere, didn't you? What would you try if you knew you would fail? I almost stole my high, this question. What would you try if you knew you would fail? Run for president. So if the goal wasn't to win, the goal was to get the publicity and the networking and the marketing, and my name become a household name. That's all I can think of at this short of notice. Bro, this question is, I've never heard this question ever in my life. What would you try if you knew you would fail? Fatherhood. You're not going to be perfect. You're not going to drop the ball somewhere. But it's worth the try because you get a chance at changing the world with one person. We act like it takes thousands of people to change the world. It takes one. Look at any school shooter. They say it'll be positive change. It only takes one person to change the world. So why can't it be positive if it could easily be negative? That's a very interesting question. What would you try if you knew you would fail? Huh. 25. What's a question you wish people would ask when they meet you for the first time? For men, the question I would like them to ask me is, how much money would you like me to transfer you right now on Cash App? And for women, keep this PG-13. Have you ate, sir? And would you like to eat a home cooked meal at my house with the air conditioner set at 60, with one of them fleece blankets as I massage your feet and whisper sweet nothings into your ear? That would be a great question to hear it presented to my person. 26. If you could have coffee with one person, dead or alive, who would it be? If you could have coffee with one person, dead or alive, just coffee? What are we on a budget? So in the previous videos, I mentioned Solomon, I mentioned Kobe, I mentioned John Jones. Who would I want to meet that I haven't named already? For vanity reasons, Joe Rogan. Oh, who's the chick that's getting married to nephew, bruh? What is his name? There's Jake something. What is his name, bruh? I'll look this shit up. This shit gonna irritate me. Jake Paul. So Logan Paul. The Let me have coffee with Logan Paul's fiance, bruh. I'll go viral. Ray spotted with little niece. Apparently it was just coffee, but apparently Ray has had warrants out for his behavior. It's a whole thing. If you could have coffee with one person, dead or alive, who would it be? Let's think of people alive, because most of our minds go to dead. Who would I want to have coffee with, dead or alive? Oh, alive. Ooh. All right, so I know I was going to answer it alive. I'm going to answer it dead. I want to meet Cleopatra for my own reasons. Just leave me alone. Hiram says, asking out an unbelievably gorgeous activist is trying to stop forced and underage marriage. Emotionally painful as it may be, 99% chance I have probably failed. Hey, it's worth it. Sometimes the risk is worth it because it's not about the outcome. It's about the process of becoming numb to the fear of rejection. It's necessary. 27. What's your most significant childhood memory? You're not going to be having me crying on here, bro. I'm not going to do it. What's your most significant childhood memory? What's your most significant childhood memory? It's going to revolve around road trips in my family's Ford Expedition. 6 people deep. And our vacation, our family vacations was to just drive to the nearest major city and just drive in circles, go eat, and then go home. Who would have thought that would show up in my adulthood as well? Yeah, I'm just so simple. Bro, I'll just drive around in circles. I want to look at the stuff, see the things, find a good place to eat, and go back to the crib. Most significant childhood. Yeah, just our little road trips. Everybody in the car, my mom and dad arguing about the Bible and the scripture, and that ain't what it said. It said this. Turn to this one, and then I love that. I love that. Sister sitting next to me, Sonny and Nene in the back seat. Yeah, good memories. 28. Do you believe you have a soulmate? A soulmate? Why or why not? No. No. Because it's illogical, improbable. No. Why would there be one person? Only one person. I have so many friendships with women that I'm like, yeah, there's no way. There's no way that one person on this planet who's alive at the same time as me, who I have access to, who I know exist or may know exist, who may cross paths with, who knows? But to say that's one person, the numbers on that, the probability alone would be astronomical. And I'm not willing to make decisions based on a number that doesn't start with at least a one. If my percentage starts with a zero, I'm busy. I'm busy. What actually gets you out of bed in the morning? Fear. Fear. It's the most honest answer I have. I don't wake up motivated to chase things. I'm usually running away from something. Fear is the most powerful emotion and stimulus that pushes people in certain directions. It's just it's fear. Fear is the only thing that gets me out of bed, takes me to the gym. No. It's the fear of missing out, or the fear of letting this day get away, or the fear of wasting a day, or the fear of being the same as yesterday, the fear of gaining weight, the fear of not building muscle, the fear of not keeping muscle. It's too much. Fear is the reason why I probably do anything. I would argue fear is the reason why most people do anything. It's because they don't want to lose. If you tell somebody they'll lose something, if they don't do something, they'll do it quicker. If you told them you'll gain something if you do this, people will weigh that. I'd rather do it and don't lose nothing than not do it, and it's too much. Fear drives most people. 30. What do you think about before you fall asleep when you wake up? 30 is I'm sleepy. Why am I still up? Simple answer. And when I wake up is where is my reefer and energy drink? Answer one or two more. 31. Is life a computer simulation? I struggle with this question because it directly conflicts. Not really. Actually, it doesn't. It actually doesn't. It actually doesn't. If anything, it would have to be an omission from the Bible, which I'm not willing to say that the Bible is wrong to say that something else is right. Now, if I find something that correlates efficiently or effectively with computer simulation theory, then I'm more apt to adapt with that. But to say that it's strictly a computer simulation when, again, the only computers we know about on this earth are created by humans. No one's ever seen a factory blow up and a bunch of computers pop out intact. Integrated complexity doesn't happen by chance. So for this universe to happen by chance, but it's computer, which we know computers have to be created. We create humans with more ease than we do computers. I can create a human today. I could not create a computer today. So I don't see how we can avoid the conversation of cosmology and how everything began by just starting with today and saying, well, because we have computers, I think we're in a simulation and the sky looks weird and stuff's disappearing. I'm like, that happens every single day. But we tend to call it simulation, man, because we don't have control of it. We don't know who has control of it. What I do know is that everything that has a present and an end has a beginning. And until somebody can explain the beginning of the computer simulation and who's the author, who's the creator, I can't just go with the theory that has no beginning. The Big Bang has no beginning. Where'd the energy come from? Where did the matter come from? Since it can't be created nor destroyed. What blew up? And why? In a vacuum of all places. There was no oxygen. What blew up and how did it blow up? It's just, there's no beginning. Evolution. We talk about how things are turning into different things today. There's Dalmatians, there's Chihuahuas, there's zebras, there's thoroughbreds. But when I go back to the beginning, how did it start? And no one has an answer. So maybe the theory is incomplete if there's no beginning to the theory. That's just my little take. So I do see the same signs and signals and abstracts and weird phenomena that takes place that makes people pause that, yo, we might be in a simulation. If there's no beginning to the theory, I can't buy it. It's not for me. It's for people with, lesser self-awareness. 32. Do we have control over technology or does it have control over us? This is the same question as the last one. Do we have control over technology or does it have control over us? We created it. It violates the laws of thermodynamics for something to operate endlessly without a power source. A solar-powered device can't work at night. Oh, it has batteries. All right. Whatever created the other person is in control. That's what I say. Whoever created the other person. How do we know we're not created by aliens or technology? I can kill myself. Was that written in the code? I can end the simulation right now. Was that written into the code? Who would write, hey, if at any point they decide they don't want to participate anymore, they can just leave. And I can't stop them. Yeah, that's, again, improbable. 33. How can a single moment have the power to change everything? I would argue life happens and changes at the pace of our decisions and the quality of our decisions. The analogy I used earlier, it's quite dark as far as, school shooters and what have you. But that's all. It only takes one moment to change countless families' lives. And now they're sitting there with, like, how do I rebuild myself, rebuild my life? You just took. Apparently, there's a school shooter on TikTok now making his rounds. Like, I don't get it. I do not get it. Yeah, a single moment has the same power as, like, the moment where a school shooter enters a school. The same volatility, the same volume of impact that is available to you in a positive way as well. We never seem to equate when something negative happens, something positive can happen just as powerful. We never think that. We just think I could lose everything in a moment. You could, but you also could gain a surplus in a moment. Why won't you think with both in mind? I'm not saying just be positive. You're probably gonna die first if you go to war. Oh my God, these people are so loving and giving, and they're passing me bullets. Well, thank you. No, it's not. It's not that. It's, can I be realistic in the moment and be objective and say all this negativity is possible, all this positivity is possible. Let's look at probability. Possibility always exists. Aliens could come to this live stream right now and walk in here, pull up a chair, and start talking with me. It's just not probable. So why do we operate in the possibilities when probability exists? And probability tells you where to lean. It tells you what's more. It helps you hone your decisions to avoid the mistakes you're trying to avoid. It's the whole thing. I almost got upset just now. 34. What if there were no experts, but everyone knew a little bit about everything? Well, I think that's where we're trending. The death of expertise, I will give credit to Nick Wright. I heard him say it first on his podcast. The death of expertise, where a doctor and MD on Twitter, their voice is just as powerful as mine. I go in there and say, yo, sugar, bruh, it's a poison. It's a poison. It's a poison. A doctor come on there and say, bruh, get some of them frosted mini wheats. Put some sugar in your cornflakes. Their voice will be heard just as loud as mine. The internet has leveled the playing field, whereas people are going to spend 10 years plus in medical school just to come out with $500,000 in student loans. And when they come out and they get on Twitter and they get to say, "Hey, you guys, I want to give you some advice coming from someone who just went through medical school," their voice is just as valuable as Ray, who woke up, smoked weed, watched a couple TikToks, and made a video. It's crazy. I think that everyone has the potential to know little about everything. Unfortunately, everything is expanding. So as soon as you think you know everything about everything, it grew, it changed, it evolved. So just based on the words alone, can't do it. Um, Experts. That term is. I don't know how to define what an expert is. No clue. The world is just is transitioning to where nothing has meaning. We're all just drifting towards nihilism. Male doesn't mean anything. Female doesn't mean anything. Woman doesn't mean anything. Man doesn't mean anything. Black doesn't mean anything. White doesn't mean anything. Everything is racist. Nothing's racist. Good lord. How do y'all sleep at night? So yeah, the death of expertise is a thing. And if you just look for it, you just see how certain voices should be much louder than others. But they're not. And the ignorance that goes viral. Whereas advisement, nothing. That's the world we live in, bro. There's 5 people watching here. Kai Cenat, I'm not, and by no means am I comparing myself to a youngin, but it's just people would much rather be entertained than to sit here and pick their mind and the deepest, darkest. How do I bring closure to this area of my life and think and pursue wisdom and mentorship? It's not for everybody, man. Everybody just stay in their lane. But the advantage of being who you are, and if you have intellectual pursuits that you enjoy pursuing, the benefit is that, yeah, if you're pursuing something that everyone else has to be disciplined at, and I just happen to enjoy answering questions and thinking and trying to solve problems, it's an advantage. I'm competing with idiots. They were entertained for most of their childhood. And then when they became adults, more entertainment, and then more entertainment, more entertainment. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there watching 2-hour lectures on fructose absorption, insulin resistance. Just be yourself. You realize there's just no competition in your lane. It's supposed to be like that. I used to hate my voice. I'm like, why is my voice so high? And then I realized I can't find any intellectual, online or otherwise, that has a deep voice. They're all in the NBA or NFL. There are no intellectuals with deep voices. I would argue it's not supposed to be that way. You can't have both, but you don't get a deep baritone voice and intellectual capacity. No, choose one, bro. And I can't have a deep voice, so it's unfortunate. And we'll end with 35. If beauty is in the eye of the beholder, what about reality? Y'all trying to get me canceled with this question, bro. If beauty is in the eye of the beholder, what about reality? So this again, before you can answer a question, you must address all assumptions and presuppositions built in. So this question assumes that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. When I would argue that preference is in the eye of the beholder. Beauty is objective, man. It's objective. No one has ever seen a sunrise and called it ugly. Why? Because nature's never wrong. It's unfortunate. Perception is subjective, just like preference. Some people are colorblind and they can't see certain colors. That's their perception. Doesn't make it true for everyone. Doesn't make it a rule for everyone. Doesn't make it highly probable for everyone. It makes their view of the world wrong. So yeah, beauty's not in the eye of the beholder. Beauty is objective in nature. You know it when you see it, and you're probably not going to be wrong. Your preference is going to be askew. It's going to be up and down. It's going to be abstract. No one cares about your preference. That's your preference. No one's trying to change it. Have what you want. And if it exists, pursue it. If it doesn't exist, that's your business. That's your business. Those are your outcomes. That's your life. But when it comes to beauty, I truly believe it's objective. It's objective. You ask 100 people, is she beautiful? 100 people say yes. Probability of 100%. You really don't need 51%. Majority. I would argue the majority of people would look at something and they would all come to the same conclusion. Yeah, that's probably beautiful. That's a nice looking car. It's a beautiful car. That sunset was ugly. No one's ever said that. Why? Because nature is objectively beautiful. Well, are humans part of nature? Yes. Now, when it comes to reality, I think reality is a weird, not a phrase. I don't want to use the word to define it. Where I was going to say reality is a weird reality. We know reality exists in terms of, all right, out of all of our perceptions, here's what actually happened. It's the silver lining that we're all trying to address. Unfortunately, as Hiram pointed out, we all have to see the world through our perceptions. I don't know anyone who can look outside of their perception and say, I know all of us are seeing one thing and it may be slightly unique or slightly abstract to each other. This is actually what is happening. I don't think anyone has that ability to do that. Science might be the closest thing, but science struggles with basic understandings like beauty. It might pause at symmetry. It might pause at, parallel lines or order. But in terms of defining what is beautiful, science is helpless. Science can't understand sacrifice. For what? I know reality exists. I just don't know how anyone can see it and truly point it out without their perception. You can't turn your perception off. No one can turn their perception off and just see what it is. I don't think any human was built that way. I think we're all designed to see what we want to see. To see what we want to see. If you look for it, it's there. This moment is beautiful. If I can find the good in this moment, I'll enjoy it. There's bad things going on in this room. I'm pretty sure I forgot to turn this fan down to low. I didn't notice it until literally just thinking and looking for something wrong. I'm like, what else is wrong in this room? I could find something wrong. I could also find something good. I'm like, this TV is doing its job. The mic's working. My audio's still doing its thing. 4 people watching, Brad. What? 4 people watching? There's good everywhere. But that's perception. Reality, I don't think humans have access to reality. What's really happening, I don't think humans have access to that. I think we have our perception of reality, and that's how we live our lives. We try to do the best we can, and we live our lives in that way. So it's unfortunate, but I don't think maybe maybe Elon will fit something. Maybe the Apple headset will unlock something in our reality vision, what have you. But that's where we're at currently. So I appreciate y'all coming, man. Watching your boy talk about some stuff and answer questions because you got nothing better to do. I'm grateful, bro. Everybody came through and said what's good to your boy Hero for being my only commenter. That's all I need, bro. If I get one person engaging, if I get half a person say what's good to your boy, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. Hit the like button on your way out if you wouldn't mind. And I will see y'all in the next video. Leave any comments, questions, concerns. RaymondIsaiah.com. That's a lot. Patreon.com/RaymondIsaiah if you want to support this channel. All the links are in the description if you would be so interested. And thanks for watching. So it was good.